My sense is that the Apostle Paul was a man who was rarely at a loss for words. But as he was dictating First Timothy, well, he didn't think of it as First Timothy. Even Timothy didn't think of it that way. But it's been preserved for us as First Timothy in our New Testament. For Paul, he was just writing a letter to his protege, Timothy, a letter of encouragement and instruction, and no small amount of passion. Well, we've been looking at a passage early in chapter 1. I'm going to take us all the way back to verse 8. We know that the law is good if one uses it properly. We also know that the law is made not for the righteous, but for lawbreakers and rebels, for the ungodly and sinful, the unholy and irreligious, for those who kill their fathers or mothers, for murderers, for the sexually immoral, for those practicing homosexuality, for slave traders and liars and perjurers, and for whatever else is contrary to the sound doctrine that conforms to the gospel concerning the glory of the blessed God which he entrusted to me. When he gets to the bottom of his list, it's almost like he said, there's more, but just let this be enough. Whatever doesn't fit with the gospel. There's some controversial things here. And there are some things that may seem like ancient issues until you dig a little deeper, like what we talked about last time, the slave trade. I'm very grateful that our country in 1864 made it illegal to hold slaves, that Abraham Lincoln appended his name to the Emancipation Proclamation. No more slavery. Hundreds of thousands of men had lost their lives in a bloody war, brother against brother, father against son, friend against friend, that we can't even connect with. We simply don't have anything in our experience that relates one-to-one with the whole Civil War. Okay, so we don't have slaves. Well, not in that way. But I hit it, kind of bounced on it pretty good last time, that there is a form of slave trade that continues in our world, in our country, and that is sex trade. I'm not going to go back into that other than to say it does irritate me a lot that our political system is more caught up, and I'm talking about people on both sides of the aisle. This is not just one party, but they're caught up in an infrastructure thing that's not about infrastructure, and they're more interested in trillions of dollars going to things that don't matter than they appear to be interested in the fact that boys and girls are being bought and sold in the sex trade industry undercover. I get all worked up, and then I lose words. If I was as serious about it as my passion feels in this moment, it just seems like there'd be something more I could do. I don't know. Speaking out against it, informing people, those are legitimate things. I don't see that my calling is to make my entire life about this issue, but it has to touch my heart. I mentioned to you Tim Tebow and his wife, who are both committed to a fight, a tooth and toenail fight across the globe to free young men and women from a sex trade. Do yourself a favor and Google Tim Tebow and his his stand against the sex trade industry, and you find some interesting stuff. So then the last two, after slave traders, he talks about liars and perjurers. What's the difference between a liar and a perjurer? As far as I can tell, the difference is subtle. A perjurer is one who tells a lie under oath. Our legal system provides for the statute is stiff for the perjurer, and unfortunately its application is a little loose at times. And so, I can't say our system deals strongly with perjurers. The ordinance is strong, but its application is perhaps not always. And anyway, last time I was in a mood, that's carried over. I don't know. A perjurer is one who lies while under oath. This is, in my mind, this has a very strict box of application. Now, a liar is one who doesn't tell the truth. A perjurer is a liar, and either a very bold liar or a very frightened victim, or a very bold liar who is very frightened of being convicted. The point is, if it's not the truth, it's a lie. We've lost touch with that concept. And if you really, I'd ask for your permission, but it's a moot point here because I'm going to go for it anyway. Down Low Bunny Trail, and it's the last on this little passage of the inventory of people for whom the law was written. The liar. Why has lying and untruth become less of a deal in our culture? Here's my theory. My theory is that lying, the only way you can judge a lie is to be able to lay it against a truth. And here's why lying has become, I think, a more acceptable, more common, more given response and activity in our culture. Because we've decided as a culture that there is no real objective truth. It's all relative. We have misappropriated and misapplied Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, which was about time and matter, had nothing to do, honestly. When he thought it up, he didn't have this idea of truth. Is it relative or is it absolute? That was not in his head. It was numbers and physics, and it wasn't philosophy. Although, from what little I know about Einstein, I believe he probably would have been thinking in philosophical terms. But see, the whole thing about relativity it wasn't really about the truth. It was about mathematics, about physics, about time and matter. But we've kind of pulled it over. When I say we, I didn't do that. You probably didn't do that. But there are people that have pulled that terminology over so that now we have my truth and your truth, but they don't have to be the same. So the truth doesn't matter. There is no such thing as the truth. It changes because circumstances change. It changes because the world changes. The truth is not an objective standard. Truth is just an idea, and it's fuzzy and nebulous. And I get up to here quickly with that line of thought. I've sort of expressed this to you before, but there is a world of people who are living their lives in a destructive way because they never got the memo that there really is such thing as truth. And because there really is such a thing as truth, there is such a thing as untruth. And if something is not true, then it is a lie. I was a little kid when I was introduced to the idea of the white lie. It doesn't hurt anybody, and it's not a bad lie, and it just bends the truth a little. I mean, it's not like, it's just a white lie. Honey, do I look good in this? Sure, yeah, I think so. When in the mind of the respondent are the words, oh, please, let's not do that. A white lie. You don't want to hurt her feelings or his feelings. I'm at the point in my life where I'm thinking, I don't think there's a white lie. I don't think there's a lie that's okay. There are some lies that I understand why people are attracted to them, and other lies that I think I have somewhat of an understanding why people tell them, but either it's true or it is a lie. There's not this gray area in the middle. And because I believe that, I often find myself swimming upstream against the current of contemporary culture and thought. But I'm not alone in this. I have an army of brothers and sisters, most of whom I don't even know, who are equally committed to the idea that there is objective truth, that there is a right and there is a wrong. Well, I get all worked up about these things, and then I'm not quite sure, okay, I'm up here vibrating. Now, what am I going to do about that? Well, here, let me just suggest this. In terms of lying and perjuring, in terms of liars and perjurers, the simple one-step application is don't be one. and that can be restated in this way: tell the truth. Are there times when I tell the truth as I understand it? Yes. But that doesn't, and could I have a misunderstanding of truth? Absolutely. That doesn't change truth. All it changes is my perception and what I say about it. But you can't change the truth. I can't change the truth. It is absolute. So, okay, here's the application for today. Don't lie. Don't be a perjurer. Tell the truth. Of all the people on the planet, Christians should be the foremost truth tellers. I'm afraid it's not always that way. Okay. So there you have his list, his small catalog, and he actually believe it or not, he expands on it in the next phrases, and we'll come back to that next time on Soul Care with Stevie Boy.